This
Yeah, hi,
conference
hi,
will now
Lavanya.
be recorded.
Hope my voice is audible. Actually, I'm suffering from cold. Okay, so you can listen me, right? Fine. So today, what we'll do is, as it is the first class, we will understand the program basics. Okay. So what is program? What are the elements of the program? How we can see the program in the real time? So that kind of things we will be learning today. Okay. Right. So first, we will define what is a program. So what is a program? So whenever I'm saying a program, so a program is a set of instructions, a set of instructions along with the data. So what is a program here? A program is a set of instructions along with the data considered as inputs. Considered as what? Input. So program is a set of instructions along with the data considered as inputs that are to be that are to be processed to give the outputs that are to be processed to give the output. So whenever we talk about a program, so program is what? Program is a set of instructions along with the data. We consider it as what? We consider it as outputs, sorry, inputs, and that inputs are processed to give the output. Okay. So what I'm trying to say here, sir, I'm trying to say that, let's say you are a programmer. Okay, so you are a programmer. So what you are going to do? You are going to give the inputs. You are going to give the input. So what input will be? Input will be instructions along with the data. Input will be instructions along with the data. What we consider it as? We consider it as inputs. I'll tell you one example also. Then what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to process them. So what do I mean by processing them? Processing is nothing but applying the logic. What is processing, sir? Processing is nothing but applying the logic. Okay, so you will be applying logic. Okay, what you'll be doing, sir? You will be applying a logic. So take the inputs. What inputs will contain? Instructions and the data, and those instructions and the data will be processed. So processing means what? Logic application. And after the logic is applied, you are going to get the output. You are going to get the output. Okay, so when I'm talking about the output, so what you're getting, you are getting the information. You're getting the information. So most of the people will say data is equal to information. So most of the people, I have heard that most of the people saying data is equal to information. So, but I want to tell you a small difference between data and information. So data is not exactly equal to information from a programmer's point of view. So from a normal people point of view, it's okay. But from a programmer's point of view, data is not same as information. Why, sir? Because data is before processing. Data is before processing, and information is what? After processing. Information is after processing. Getting my point? Data is always before processing, information is after processing. So that is the difference. Okay, one simple example I'll tell you. Now, for example, I'll say add 4 comma 3. So what is this? Add 4 comma 3. So add 4 comma 3 is nothing but add 4 comma 3 is nothing but it is instruction along with the data. Instruction along with the data. Now if I am giving you this instruction and this data, what generally you will do? You will add them. You will add them, yes or no? Why, sir, you are adding? Because I told you to add. I gave you an instruction by saying add. You add those two numbers. So what is the logic that you are applying? Addition logic you are applying. So slowly moving forward, you will be getting so many logics. You'll be getting so many other logics also. Okay, 4 and 3, and then you will get what? You will get 7. So what is 7 here? 7 is the output. So 7 is the information you are getting from 4 comma 3. So 4 comma 3, you are applying some instruction. You are applying some instruction and you are getting the output. Getting my point or not? Okay. I'll give you one more real-time reference. So now, for example, whenever we are talking about programs, softwares, and all, we will be working with use cases. What we'll be working with? Use cases. So whenever I'm saying use case in the sense some real-time scenario, real-time scenario. So now real-time scenario means, for example, I am working for a software. Let's say I'm working for a software company. So one of my client asked me to create an application. Okay, so what is the application use case here? Application that takes that takes number of hours, comma. Okay, so number of hours it will take, and payment per hour. Okay, so what it will take? Application that takes number of hours and payments per hour and calculate the total payment. Calculate the total payment. So here, what are the inputs? Number of hours and payment per hour is the input. What is the output that you have to get? Total payment. Hope you are getting my point. So this is a use case. My client asked me to create this application. What is the application? You create an application that will take. You create an application that will take. Let's say, give an interface basically. Give an interface. So which will take number of hours. Okay, number of hours, and it will take uh, payment per hour. Payment per hour. So it will take these two as inputs. And you have a button which will give you total payment, right? Total payment. When you click on total payment, what I should get? I should get the total payment. So client is not worried about the processing and all. Client is worried about input picture and output picture. Okay, so something like total payment is equal to dash something. Hope you are getting my point. So what my client asked me to create an application. So that application will take what? That application will take number of hours and that application will take payment per hour and a button total payment. So when you click on that button, you should get the total payment. Is this clear? So this is what he asked me to do. Getting my point? Okay. Now here also, see, not only in this application, in every application, you have to go for I, P, and O. What do you have to go for? I, P, and O. What do you have to go for, sir? I, P, and O. I, inputs, P, processing, O, outputs. Yes, input, processing, output. So the client is worried about input and outputs. But what a programmer is worried about? Logic. Programmer is worried about logic. How to take that inputs, how to build that program. So he is worried about that. Yes or no? So what he has to design? He has to design the program. He has to design the program. Yes or no? Okay. Now here in this case, what we will do is we will go for the steps. So now for this use case, we have to go for the steps. Steps in writing the program. Steps in program development. So what is the next thing that we are learning? First, what we learned, sir? We learned what is a program. What is a program? Program is a set of instructions along with the data considered as input, and that inputs are to be processed to give the outputs. Clear? So overall, IPO. I for P for O for output. That's it. You can take any program in this world. It will have three things. What are they? I, P, and O. Input, processing, and output. I, P, and O. Input, processing, and output. Is my point clear? So, what are the three things that program will contain? I, P O. Input, processing, output. Input, processing, output. It can be any big program. It doesn't matter. It can be any big program. Yes. So what happens at small program means small inputs, small outputs, small logics. Big program means number of inputs will be big. I mean, big means more. Number of outputs may be more. Logic may be more. In logic, you have to use many other things. So that's the way we go for it. Hope the things are clear. Yes? Okay. Now, before going into the programming, okay, so what we need to learn is we need to learn the steps of program development. What we need to learn? Steps of program development. So, what are the steps that we need to follow for writing a program? Okay, so now, for example, now you want to go to a new place. You want to go to a new place. So, from your house, you want to go to a new place. You have an exam somewhere. So, what is the first thing that you do? You will design the process of going. Yes or no? Should I go on bike? You look at the map. You look at the map, looking at the distance. If public service is available, I'll go for public service. If public service is not available, I'll take my own bike. Okay, so if I can't park that bike there, I'll take a Ola, Ola or some bike ride or something. So this is the planning that will take care, right? Yes. So when I'm talking about this planning, the planning we call it as steps, right? So there are basically some steps in developing the program. So first step is always design the program. What is the first step? Design the program. Design the program. What is the first step, sir? Design the program. So whenever I'm saying design the program, so what is designing the program? You are going to think about what inputs to be given, what logic has to be written, what output has to be given. So we are going to think about all those things. Sir, how we will think, sir? What is the process of thinking? We use algorithms. What we use? Algorithms or flow charts. What we'll think of? We'll think of algorithm and flow chart. Okay. So for every program not required. For some of the programs initially we will take care about. So every program, suppose if I am asking you to write a 200 line code, I'm not going to ask you algorithm and flowchart. I'm going to ask you to write a program. But initially, to understand the things, you need to understand the flow of the program. To understand the flow of the program, we require a step-by-step information, which is algorithm. What is algorithm? Step-by-step process. Algorithm is what? Step by step process. Flowchart is what? Flow of the program. Flow of the program. So what is the first step? What is the second step? All that. Is this clear? We will write. For this use case, we will write the algorithm also, flowchart also, right? We will do that. So what is the first step always? Design the program. So that is what I told you. If you want to go to a new place, you will search for the map. You will think, should I go with the public transport? Should I go with any other transport, or if I need to ask somebody to drop me? So these kind of things you will be thinking. This is all thinking process. Designing program means thinking how I should write the program. Yes or no? If you think correctly, you will reach your destination perfectly. If you are thinking wrong, so you will not reach your destination on time. Yes or no? Maybe you reach your destination. I am not saying no, but you may not reach on time. Exam, no, on time you have to reach. So here also designing is not very important all the time. But if you design, if you think about that program, definitely you will get a correct outputs. That is what my point is. Is this clear? Yes or no? Okay. So then the next step is going to be write the code. This is important, right? Write the code. What is the next step? Write the code. You have to write the code. You have to start traveling. basically. Yes or no? You have to start traveling. Yes or no? So you start traveling. That is what you write the code. Story is not over yet. Yes. So you will write first step is what? Design the program. For designing, what we do? We go for an algorithm or a flow chart to understand the flow. What should come first? What should come next? How where should I take the inputs? Where should I write the logic? How should I get the output? So this kind of things. Hope the things are clear. Yes? Okay. Now, writing the code means what? Select the language. That's it. Writing the code means selecting the language. Selecting the language. Selecting the language means now you are here for learning Java. So you'll obviously select Java. Now, if there are people who know Python, so they will go with Python. So once you understand Java, Python, all the things, so you can select. Or for this program, Java would be better. For this program, Python would be better. So you can think like that. But here we have no choice. We have to go for the Java program. Is this clear? Yes. Okay. Now next step is after writing the program. Now suppose you reached the destination. Let's say. Now what you will think? Is this the right place? Did I reach? Yes or no? You'll double confirm or not? Okay. Then what is that, sir? Here, check for the after writing the code. What do you have to do? Check for syntax errors. Check for what? Syntax errors. What do you have to check for? Syntax errors. That is important. Is this clear? Yes or no? So what do you have to do? First step again, design the program. Second step, writing the code. Third step, check for the syntax errors. If there are any syntax errors are there or not in the program, you have to check. Is that clear? Yes or no? Okay, so who will do this for me? I will have a compiler. I will have a compiler. In Java, you have a compiler. So if you are using Python, you will have an interpreter. Okay, getting my point? Is that clear? So once you check for the syntax errors, okay. So once you check for the syntax errors means what? I'll tell you. First, I'll complete the steps. Okay. Then you will have. So then you will have to. What is the next step? The next step is you will have to test the code. What you'll have to do? Test the code. So for testing the code, you have the interpreter. You have what? Interpreter. So for Java, you have interpreter. So interpreter or you say JVM. So these things will take care. So we'll talk about JVM interpreter later. Don't worry now. Yes? Is my point clear? Okay. So once you test the code, after you write the code, after you do the process and everything, what you'll get? You'll get the output. So in the output, you suppose one time I'll tell you my own real time example. uh, there was a Pawan Kalyan movie Authority Dare. I think you know these theaters in Paradise. So one theater is Tivoli and one more is beside that, uh, Extreme Tivoli or something. Two theaters are there, some Extreme Tivoli or something, two theaters with same almost the same name. Now what happened is I booked tickets for Tivoli. Okay, I booked tickets for Tivoli. So we went there, we sat there. Okay, after 5 minutes, that person came to me. That person came to me and I said, "You booked tickets in that theater and you are sitting in this theater." Means what is that, sir? That is a logical error. What is that? Logical error. So how can you connect that in my program, sir? If I have to connect with your program, you are getting wrong outputs. That is wrong output only. No? I booked tickets for Tivoli. I am sitting in the other Tivoli theater. Both names are almost same. But can I sit there? Can I sit there? No, because somebody else might have booked tickets in that two seats. Of course, that was a kind of embarrassing moment because my wife was there with me. So తర్వాత వదిలేండి, తర్వాత విషయం. So literally what happened is these are logical errors. What are these? Logical errors. Is this clear? So what you have to check for? You have to check for the which errors? Logical errors. Sir, what are logical errors? What are syntax errors? I'll tell. Getting my point? Now these are the steps. So once you check for the logical errors, if your output is correct, okay, super, your program is success. If your errors, I mean, if your program is giving you wrong outputs, then there you have to again check your code. Again check your code. Is this clear? Again you have to check the code. Rewrite the code, of course. Yes or no? Yes, until you don't have the logical errors, this process will go on. Am I clear? Yes or no? So if there is logical error, check logical errors. If yes, what you have to do? You have to again write the code. Again, you have to check for the syntax errors. Again, you have to test the code. Again, you have to check for the logical errors. This process will continue. Yes or no? So in your college, until you get the output, you will be doing only, no? Yes. Why? Because the output that a client wants. Is my point clear? So where the program step started, tell me? Where the program step started? Designing the program, writing the code. Technically speaking, our journey in software industry starts from writing the code only. But without planning, if you write the code, so there is a high chance of syntax errors. There is a high chance of logical errors. Yes or no? Hope my point is crystal clear. Yes? Okay. Now what we'll do is we will write the program. We'll not write a Java program, we'll write a normal program. Okay, so we'll not write Java code or anything here because we need to know much more in order to write a Java program. We'll not write Java program, we'll write a simple basic program so that everyone can understand. Is that clear? Okay. So now we will follow the steps. Okay, once again, what are the steps? Tell me. Designing the program, write the code, check for the syntax errors. Check for the syntax errors. Next, test the code. Next, check for the logical errors. If there are logical errors means you are expecting some output and you are getting some output. You are expecting some output, you are getting some output. If you are getting the outputs what you expected, oh, it's okay. If not, again go back, write the code. Go back, write the code. Yes, I'll tell you. I'll tell you. Syntax errors, logical errors. There is also one more type of error. I'll tell you. Yes. First, we'll write one example. So with that, what happens is you will have much more idea. So what is the first step? First step is designing the program. Design the program. Okay. So what I said, you either go for algorithm or you go for the flowchart. This is not important for every program. Initially, for some program we will do. After that, we will get habituated. Okay, algorithm, and next is flow chart. Okay, okay. So, what is our use case again? What is our use case? Okay, so we will get back to that use case. What is that use case? The use case is, what do you mean by use case? The real time situation. The real time situation. So use case means the real time situation where programming is required. Okay, so application that takes number of hours, okay, payment per hour, and calculate the total payment. Yes. Okay, now what did you understand from this? Let's take a generalized view. Take the number of hours, take the payment per hour. So 1 hour is 50 rupees means, so if he is working for 5 hours, he should be paid 5 into 50, 250 rupees. That's it. That is our idea. First generalized idea. Then we will put the algorithm. Algorithm means what? Picturizing your inputs, processing and the logic. I mean processing and the outputs. Getting my point? Okay, what is the first step? Exactly. Take number of hours, comma, payment per hour. Payment per hour as inputs. Yes, getting my point? Next, processing. Processing means what? Multiply number of hours, number of hours. Okay, so and payment per hour means what? Means simply if you put what is the logic here? The logic is into. So you keep an into and store this in total payments. Getting my point? That's it. That's the logic. Yes. Getting my point? Okay. Then third step, display. What is the output? Total payment. Over. What is the advantage, sir? If you think like this, while writing the program, things will be clear. If you understood where to go, how to go, if those things are clear, then definitely going is a secondary task. Yes or no? Once your design process is completely clear, yes or no? So now you watch movies also. So what is the difference between a super hit movie and what is the I mean what is the difference between a super hit movie and a flop movie? So super hit movie means lot of planning, lot of research. Now Kalki, Bahubali, how the Hanuman, how these movies are super hit because lot of research directors will do, lot of time they will take. Why? They will do this process perfectly. What is that? Designing part. Getting my point or not? Taking a movie is just a simple task for them because technicians will be there, photographers will be there, director will be there, all the other things will be there. Yes, so that is not a big task for them. VFX designers will be there. Everything can be done easily. But without the clear picture, without the clear picture, what they want to do, can it be a super hit? Now, what will happen if a movie is flop? Then now one of the movies. Uh, so that went into flop. Why? Because the research was not good. So the VFX that he thought was not good. So that is what happens. It is as simple as that. Hope it is clear. Okay. Now coming to the flow chart. Sir, both are important or no? Anything, anyone for your idea, right? Okay. So now what is this, sir? Then when you go for this, so this is the flow chart. So start of the program. So what is the first step that you need to take? You need to take the inputs. You need to take the input. So number of hours. Okay. So payment per hour. You take some values. You take some values. So some dash. Any value you can take. You need to write a generic program. Okay. And then you do the processing. So what is processing, sir? Here, processing means you have to write total payment is equal to NH into PH. NH into PH. Then display the output. So what is the output, sir? Output is total payment. Over. Same thing. That and this are same. Yes. Anything you can take. I'm not saying this only you have to take, this only you have to take. Yes. So you can take anything for that matter. Hope my points are crystal clear. Right? So what is the design process you understood now? Means you are giving it a thought. You are giving it a thought. Before starting the program, you are giving it a thought. And this is common for all the programming language. I'm not saying only for Java. I'm not saying only for Python. No, it is common for all the programs. It is common for all the programs. Am I crystal clear? Yes? Okay. Now we will go to the Second step. What is the second step? Write the code. Now here I'm not going to make you write any Java program, because as I told you, some things you need to know to write a Java program. So the first day itself we will not write a full-fledged Java program. So we will write simple things, right? Okay. Now writing the code means I took number of hours is equal to, so I can take anything, means I can ask the user. No, user will give. I'm giving that application to the client. See, always remember, we are not building applications or programs for our sake. Getting my point? So we are building the applications for somebody's sake. Means you are building the applications for somebody else. You're not building the applications for yourself or for me or for your teacher or for your parents or for your sister or anything. We are preparing or we are creating applications for somebody else to use. Now suppose you go to DMart. So you go to DMart, you make all the shopping, and you go and give all the items to that person. Now he will be scanning. So as he is scanning, he uses software. Is that software built by that person? Is that software built by you? Is that software built by your brother or somebody? No, somebody else has created that product and they have installed that in that system, and we are using that. Always a third party. Always a third party. So third party persons will create the projects for you, and that projects you are going to use. That's it. Am I clear? Means your program should be in such a way that so they can be used by anyone. They can be used by anyone. Getting my point? They can be used by anyone. Number of hours. Somebody will give 4 hours. Somebody will give 8 hours. Somebody can give 9 hours. So simple example is again your hall ticket. So now three people of us are there here. Now what we will do? I will give my hall ticket number, you will give your hall ticket number, you will give your hall ticket number. So my interface is there to take any hall ticket number. Yes or no? Is my point crystal clear? Now you are creating softwares for others, not for you. It is as simple as that. So you create an application in such a way that it is clearly understood. It is clearly understood. Getting my point? Okay. Number of hours. Let's say here we are giving some value. Let's say I gave 8 hours. So you worked for 8 hours. Okay. Payment. Payment per hour. Payment per hour is equal to how much? Payment per hour is something like say 350. Okay, per hour 350 rupees. Okay, now inputs are over. Now total payment. So what is total payment? Total payment is equal to, don't multiply 8 and 350. Instead, you multiply. So what you have to multiply? You are multiply number of hours into payment per hour. Why, sir? What is the reason why I should not calculate that 8 and 350? 8 and 350 for a particular user. Suppose if I am giving my hall ticket number, so it is not that you have to give the same hall ticket number and you will get your result. Yes or no? So every hall ticket number వాళ్ళది. అంతే కదా? It is as simple as that. So means that number of hours, that number will be given by somebody else. That may be 8 also, 10 also, 12 also, 100 also, 50 also. It doesn't matter for us. We are storing that. We are storing that into some variable. We call it as actually variable. Yes. Am I clear? So total payment is equal to number of hours into payment per hour. And then finally what you have to do? You have to print it. You have to print it. So print what? Print the total payment. Print the total payment. Now client is getting the output or not? Yes? Am I crystal clear? Yes or no? Right. So this is the way that you are developing the code or writing the code. So writing the code becomes easy. when you think about what to do in the program, what to be taken as inputs, what to be taken as outputs, what to be taken as processing. Yes or no? So if those things you are doing perfectly means things will be easy for development of the code. Yes or no? Am I clear? So when the things will be easy for development, when you design the program better. When you design the program better. Okay? Right. So now is my part over or still I need to do some things? We need to do something. So we are just done with two steps. What are the two steps we are done with? Exactly. So we are done with only two steps, sir. What is that? What are the two steps? The two steps are designing the code, designing the program, and writing the code. So we are done with only two steps. So now we need to go for the syntax error checking. Okay. So first of all, we need to understand what exactly is a syntax error. So what we need to understand, sir? We need to understand exactly what is a syntax error. Yes? Okay. So what is the third step, sir? Third step is going to be, third step is going to be what? Check for the which errors? Syntax errors. Check for the syntax errors. So what you have to check for? Syntax errors. Syntax. Sir, what is syntax error? Now, for example, you learn English, Telugu, Hindi in our childhood, isn't it? So, okay, English, we'll catch English. Now, when you write the English paper in 10th class, you'll have paper one, paper two. At our time, there used to be paper one, paper two. Okay, so leave that. Now, 70% marks will be there for grammar, only 30% for theory. Why like that? Any idea why like that? Exactly, to know more about grammar, because that is important. No, in English, more than theory, what is important? Grammar is important because that grammar only you will be using to write, you will be using to talk. Yes or no? Getting my point? So, like grammar in English, syntax for programming. It is as simple as. So, in simple words, if I have to say, syntax means rules and regulations, or I can say rules and guidelines to develop the program code. Hope my point is clear. So, what is syntax first? Syntax means the rules and guidelines. I'll not say regulations, I'll say guidelines. The rules and guidelines that are needed to be followed, that are needed to be followed when developing the program code. We're developing the program code. So if you are having any syntax error, if you are having any syntax error, if you are having any syntax error, the program will not go forward. The program will not move forward. Means, see, when you are not having any grammar mistakes, then only that English will be perfect, no? Yes or no? So in the same way, when you don't have syntax error, then only that program will be qualified for testing. Otherwise, it won't be. Getting my point out? So it has to go through that phase, compilation phase. We'll talk about compilation interpretation later in detail. So first syntax. Syntax means what? The rules and guidelines that are needed to be followed when developing the code. Then what is syntax error? Okay, first of all, what is error? Tell. So what is error? Error means a mistake. Error means a mistake. Simple. Error means what? Mistake. So the error is nothing but a mistake that takes place in the program intentionally or unintentionally. Intentionally, I can make a mistake. Unintentionally, the mistake may happen. Yes or no? So the errors. The errors are the mistakes that takes place in the program intentionally or unintentionally. So the errors are the mistake that takes place in the program intentionally or unintentionally. Getting my point? So program the errors that are occurred in the program which with our means sometimes intentionally means I'll tell you my example only. I will make some mistake to show that if you do this you'll get this mistake. Unintentionally means without our knowledge sometimes it may happen. Getting my point? Okay. So when I'm saying error, the error is nothing but a mistake that takes place in the program intentionally or unintentionally. So without our intervention or with our intervention, it will take. Is this clear? Yes. So what are errors you understood now? What are errors? Errors are the mistakes. That's it. Now coming to the syntax error. Syntax error means what, sir? When you are not following the rules and regulations. It's as simple as that. Yes? Okay. So the syntax error occurs in the program when you do not follow when you do not follow the rules and the guidelines provided by the program ecosystem. Ecosystem is environment. So nowadays environment nobody is talking about. They'll say ecosystem. So according to the program ecosystem, some rules and regulations are made. If you are not following that rules, you will get a syntax error. Is that clear? Yes or no? Yes. Now for example, if I am writing number of hours is equal to 8, no syntax error. If I am writing 8 is equal to number of hours, it will be a syntax error. Because 8 is a number, no, 8 cannot take anything. 8 is 8 only. So how can I write 8 is equal to, so that will be a syntax error. So I will not be giving you a bigger syntax errors. So this is code, code without syntax error. Without which error? Syntax error. Right? Now, if I'm writing reverse, something like 8 is equal to number of hours. Now what is this? Code with the syntax errors. Why? Number of hours cannot be given to 8. 8 can be given to number of hours. 8 can be given to number of hours. But you cannot give number of hours to 8. That is the point. Is this clear? What I'm trying to say, you understood? So number of hours is equal to 8. The code without a syntax error. 8 is equal to number of hours. The code with the syntax error. So if there are anything like this, the program will stop. The program will stop. Again, what you have to do? Again, you have to go for the writing of the code. Again, you have to go for the writing of the code. Yes or no? Hmm. Yeah. Chapter. Okay. Now coming back. So what is the syntax you understood? What is syntax? Rules and guidelines. What is error? Mistake. Error means a mistake that will take place intentionally or unintentionally. Clear up to here? Clear up to here? Okay. Then what is the syntax error? Syntax error means the error that will take place when you are not following the rules. When you are not following the rules. Yes or no? Okay. Now here, okay, I'll tell you why it is giving red line. Now forget about Java, Python. Why it is giving red line? Exactly. It is a grammar mistake. Number of hours uh, should be there with English grammar means number is different, of is different, hours is different. But if you use the same in Java program or a Python program, it will give you error because no space should be there. Okay, is that clear? Okay, anyhow, what is syntax error now? The syntax error occurs when a program is not following the rules and regulations. Clear? Okay, so code without syntax error is this code where you are assigning 8 into number of hours. You are assigning 8 into number of hours. That is okay. I'm okay with that code. There is no issue with that code. But when you are doing number of hours into 8, number of hours into 8, so it is a mistake. Why, sir? Because 8 is a number, no? How can you put, you cannot even put another number into 8. Can you put 9 into 8? Can you say 9 and 8 are same? Definitely not. Because 8 has its own value, base value, 9 has its own base value. So they both can't be same, not in this generation. Yes? Am I clear now? Now it is clear for you? Yes? Now it is clear? So what I'm trying to say is, when the syntax error happens in the code, it will stop there itself. And we have to again take off that error and test it again. Take off the error, again check. Take off the error, again check. If there are syntax errors, you have to again check. You have to again check by changing the code. Yes? Clear now? Okay? So that is what is syntax error. Now you got a clear idea what is syntax error? Yes? So what is syntax error? The error that will occur in a program when you do not follow the rules and regulations of the program ecosystem. How this ecosystem will come, sir? By installation. That I'll tell you. Is this clear? Okay. And then we will talk about testing the code. Testing the code means what? Testing for output. Testing for output means running the program. Okay. So running the program. Testing the code means what, sir? So test the code. Understanding or not? So testing the code. So testing the code means nothing but execute the code, execute the code with the given inputs. With the given inputs. Now tell me what is the answer? Definitely you will get output, no? What is the answer for the above program? So you need to test this program. So what will be the answer? Okay, so this is the program and this is the output. So what is the output? Tell me. 350 into 8. What is 350 into 8? 2800. What is the output here? 2800. Is it correct output or wrong? Correct output. Two or three cases you can check. Correct output. Correct output means what is not there? Logical errors are not there. So tomorrow what we will do is we will write a program with logical errors. Then we'll again do the steps. Then we will talk about logical errors and what is the importance of the logical errors. And there is one more type of error that also we will talk about. Okay. Now today's session, what you are taking away with you, you are taking away what is a program and the steps in the program development. So what is the program? Set of instructions along with the data considered as input that are to be processed to give the output. Input means something which is given. Processing means the logic that you are performing. And output means which is coming. Is this crystal clear? Yes. So these are the things that we need to know. And what are the steps, sir? Design the program, writing the code, check for the syntax errors, testing the code, and checking for the logical errors. Okay, so before coming to the class tomorrow, please go through all the things. So daily, if you go through, it will be easy for you. So initial days are very crucial. Once in the initial days you are fine, then all the things will go on. Yes, get me point. Okay. So thank you so much. So we'll meet in our next session with much more discussion. Okay. Yeah. Lavanya, any doubts, any questions? If you have any doubts, any questions, you can ask. Okay. Yeah, yeah, I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll give this notes and video also I'll be sharing. But video sharing will take time. Okay, so notes right away. Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you so much. So we'll meet tomorrow, right?